I think I first wanted to do this when I was about 18 years old.
I'm on the turbo warm up. You guys got on video?
Yeah.
I ended up started driving a tow truck for Myers Towing and turned into a heavy wrecker specialist and became operations manager, and just never fit into the timeline. Good money, love the work, exciting, high risk recovery jobs, which ties into off-roading as well. You know, getting to play with winches every day, being paid for it's kind of nice.
Oh, he's gone.
And then after 20 years of being a heavy wrecker operator, I left that business and started talking with Zach. I always wanted to do this. The new JL was coming out. It was like the perfect time to strike because people are going to be wanting to update their vehicles, and it's my passion. I've always owned Jeeps. And New Year's Eve, over a couple of drinks around a campfire, I decided to do it. January 2nd, I had a business license, and January 5th, I had product showing up. Nice. And didn't even have a building yet. I was filling my basement full of product, and we were looking for some place to go, but I needed to have stuff, so when I was ready to open, I had product.
We're gonna take it for a rip. I just drug it out of the weeds. Not really liking the way the engine's sounding right now, but we'll go see if we can wake her up. The one-eyed monster.
What's it like working with James?
Interesting.
To say the least. It's always an adventure. I will say, when I've had the good fortune of being able to work with him in the shop, it's the amount of information he has squirreled away in his head can be irritating when you're looking at something, trying to figure out how to do it, and he simply walks over and says, do this, 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 and this, and you're done. It had taken me an hour to figure it out, and he could have forgotten how to do it.
No matter what, he's got some crazy way of figuring out just about anything.
Bush mechanic, trail fix. I don't own the right tool, but we'll make one to get it done. And
you probably got more tools than anybody know that don't exist on a normal
shelf.
Toolbox or shelf.
Absolutely. And he knows the purpose for each one and how to use each one of these custom builds. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And why you built it. Even if it's a nut welded on the end of a 2-foot rod.
Yeah, he knows there's a purpose to that.
There's a purpose to that piece.
Makes it hard to help him clean the shop.
I got my first Jeep when I was 16. It's kind of a funny story. I was driving an Oldsmobile Forenza GT, and a buddy of mine borrowed it, and he ended up putting it in the ditch and messing it up. And he owned a Jeep, and the Jeep was broken because that's a Jeep and that's what they do. And he ended up, because he wrote my car off and all I had was just the bare minimum to drive it. I was 16 years old. He gave me his Jeep, CJ7 83, and that was my very first Jeep. He gave me that, and I fixed it, what the problem was, and that's where the sickness really started. Without exaggeration, at least 50.
50 Jeeps.
50 Jeeps, at least. It could be more, but it may sound unrealistic, but 50 for sure. They're just enthusiasts. they love their vehicle and they want to make it their own. From the mall crawler to the hardcore wheeler, soccer mom, we see them all. We see them all regularly. They seem to be just repeat customers. Some just stop in and say hello. Some have stopped in and just dropped off coffee. Some just come in to hear the stories that we have to tell, and they want to share their story. They went away for a weekend. They pop in, tell us how good of a time they had, and say see you later. And that's our customer base. It's not one particular thing. I don't cater to one particular group, and I don't have one particular group that comes in. They all come in.
I think we've always looked at it as we are, just part of the community, just like anybody else. We're never around to sell you anything. We've always just been around to give you the advice that we've learned from, whether we've learned it ourselves or through somebody. That's just how we've always been since the get-go. We talk out of people buying things all the time because, one, they don't need it, and we're here as friends and companions in the off-road world. That's, I think, why we've always succeeded, is that we're not a normal business that just wants to jam sales down your throat.
How would you describe the off-road community? Who are they?
So many different types.
I know, and that's
You've got your young guy with his four-wheeler and UTV that just wants to go and do those trails. You've got your full-on off-roaders. You've got hardcore built Jeeps and buggies, and then you've got your overlander who's does a little bit of off-roading, but mostly camping.
no one vehicle type lays claim to the term off-roader.
Pretty much, I think anybody that wants to get off the normal path, anybody that wants to get off the beaten path and not be part of the norm that just drives a vehicle to work in the grocery store. A passion shouldn't be a 9-to-5 job, and this has never been a 9-to-5 job because it's a passion. It's our lifestyle. It's what we do day in and day out. Just like sharing the information that I've learned over the years to everybody else that walks in here, not just to sell you something.
Seven. Next question.
That's actually good stuff right now. You know that's going to be in the video.
Still want to fill it though. Like, it's still pretty full in here, and I think if we moved to a bigger store, we would just fill it up more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was always the goal.
You know, always the goal to be like the outdoor store, right? Like, I still want to get into more. I want to get into fishing gear and ATVs and dirt bikes and snowmobiles, and it's all those baby steps to get up to that point. And building and making sure that there's a market for it. And,
Right.
so I would love to have a whole section of just like fishing supplies, and I'm stocking 20 Camprite tents right now.
Filled happy with the store.
That was filled. Yeah. I think we've got 15 coolers in stock roughly. Plus we've got sleeping bags, and we wouldn't have had the room to explore into that. Something else would have had to sacrifice, right? We would have had to not have a lift kit.
not have wheels and tires. So, I mean, there was a time where the tractor trailer would pull up front, offload 60 tires, and we're like, we have 700 square feet, and 53 footer just drops off a load of tires.
Right.
So, at least here now, we don't panic when we see a truck pull up front, and we just grab a forklift and offload our stuff. We do way more pickup trucks than we do Jeeps, like probably 5 to 1. But everyone knows us. Everyone knows us as the Jeep people.
Right.
So that's somewhere we're trying to change. That's why we don't advertise a lot of the Jeep builds that we do, and try to, like Zach said, we try to really push the truck stuff or the car. We don't do a ton of cars, but we can.
The philosophy of being off-road, out back, off-grid, that freedom, that separation, I think really appeals to a lot of people now. A lot of the younger people, you've got the older group, the older section of the wheeling community that did it because it's always been fun and it was something to do, where now I think the younger group see it as a bit of an escape / vacation from constantly being plugged in.
Yeah, because when Jeep in 07, you've seen the difference because of it was only ever a TJ, YJ, CJ where
Always
you
a
couldn't
two-door.
fit the family. I mean, in 07 when Jeep released the 4-door, it changed the whole aspect of it because you could take that much more, you could fit that many more people. And that's probably what changed it and why we've seen such that different gap.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's splintered again from there, from the people that want to go wheeling to the people that want to go overlanding. And overlanding is a fancy word for car camping, but you've got to get off the beaten path. You're going to get a little ways into the bush to camp where maybe nobody else has ever been. Again, that separation, that getting
Crown
away.
Land camp spot turned into Crown Land camping versus to those guys it was them going camping.
Yeah.
It was terminology again from everything being social media and all that. The terminology got created because of that, but to them it was camping.
Yeah.
It was going out wheeling to go camping.
They had to make everything. They had to design their suspension geometry. They had to build everything, where now we have a prolific volume of well-engineered aftermarket parts, let alone Canadian companies in Ontario making some great equipment, some great parts that are bolt-on. I see our job as helping the new generation pick and choose which pieces we want to go together to build the rig that's going to do what they want.
How you mash those two worlds. For guys got dad that still likes building all those old parts, but also that's very old technology, and that's why most of those old stories are stories to us because we didn't see it. We have media and social media and Facebook, Instagram, everything now, where back then they could kind of do what they wanted and nobody knew except for the people that were around.
That were there.
Don't us old guys just get crustier as we get older about them young kids that tear up the lawns in their Jeeps and trucks and play them loud music and have them big whip antennas? Seeing like seeing the customer's face after you like build their dream truck, right? It may not be my dream truck, may not be your dream truck, but that's what they want. And you know, they come pick it up and they're excited and they're taking pictures and they're sending to their buddies, and like that's the reward part. Like it's always that great feeling when you see that. I just look at it as like everything you want is on the other side of fear.
Tell me about the.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Cut.
Cut.